What's poppin'? This is the Ghost of Highbury. I'm your host, Anton. It's been a pleasure to be with you. What a crazy day today. We're going to get into a lot of things. A lot. We got to talk about Ainsley. We got to talk about what Ainsley did. We're going to talk about the reaction from the club and whether both were right or wrong. Could this situation have been prevented? Of course it could have. Or did Ainsley just get out of pocket? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow's deadline day. I mean, it's already tomorrow. If you're watching this in the UK, it's already tomorrow. So, you guys are officially on deadline watch. And tomorrow, our time tonight, probably around 9-10 o'clock tomorrow, we will have kind of an after action report where we will evaluate the squad man by man to see if we brought somebody in, if people left. Looks like Bellerin's leaving, like I mentioned in the lead up. And so we're just gonna go, so tomorrow we will go through man by man and see where we are and see what we're gonna have to do until January, because that's where we're gonna be. Again, thank you for joining me on the stream. It's amazing starting this. I'm growing in confidence. My conversational skills are getting better. So don't have many fans right now, but I would love if you're watching this after the fact to tap in, follow me, email me at ghostofhighbury@gmail.com, DM me. You can see. Oh, actually, let me throw the face cam up. Hold on, hold it now. Okay, now we're looking good. Okay, you can see right up here. I'm at Highbury Ghost US on Twitter. That's where I interact with people. So no need doing IG and all that type of stuff. Twitter's good. And so yeah, tap in, link up. Let's talk about it. Would love a tremendous outpouring of US Gooners on here since the time difference. I know I watch a lot of the UK shows during the morning as I'm working and things like that, or listening to while I'm working. But I don't see a lot of US shows coming on during our evening where it's midnight. Over there, it's just 9-10 o'clock over here. So I would love for us to have our own thing over here to engage and discuss, with our own separate views on how we see things going on at our football club. So let's just dive right in. Let me, as I always do, let me pull something up on screen, show you guys. And, let's just, so here's what we got hit with today. We get this bad boy dropped on us. Big shout to Arsenal, Long Island. Love that account. We engage a lot. Yeah, we don't agree with everything, but we agree with most things. And so, I like that account. And so I'm gonna get whoever's running the account. I'm gonna get you on. And so we got hit with this bad boy earlier today, and that kind of like shut. we were like taking it back, like what is going on here? And it says, all I want to do is go where I'm wanted and where I'm gonna play. And he puts, you can see he puts the crying emojis, and he even tags Arsenal in it. That's wild. And so, yeah. I mean, so that's how we woke up today. I mean, that's not how we woke up because that was around midday for us. And so, that was a very interesting. You don't really see that. You don't really see that. You don't really see players putting out, Instagram posts like that, Twitter posts. You get the obligatory, it was a great being here. I'm enjoying my next journey. I'm gonna do all this stuff, or something like that. You might get like an airplane emoji at the airport, or like the airplane emoji coming down with like the flag of the country that you're going to, or something like that. That's the most that you get when something dealing with transfers, comes up on a player's account. And so to see like this plea, like all I want to do is go somewhere. So let's just dissect what this is. He says, all I want to do is go somewhere. So right there, it tells you he wants to leave. Now we have to, whether we like it or not, think that he should leave, think that he should go. We have to do some acceptance on our part and understand that he wants to go, because you know how much that takes a lot to say that and to put that out publicly. I'm sure behind closed doors there are so many things that we're not privy to, and good, because with the way Twitter and social media and things like it is now, it would be a total madness. But let's just, okay, so he says he wants to go. He just wants to go somewhere. He could have easily just said, I really just want to play the game that I love. It's not, that's what he said. Clock and Farm says, why do you think we haven't brought Jack back on a free? It's beyond me, especially with all these players leaving. That's interesting. That's interesting because I guess the obvious thing is, we're looking at our midfield, and we sold basically our most, what would you say, Clock in, would you say our most dynamic midfielder? Now, I'm not gonna go on Odegaard because it's too soon. And I know people said, well, he was here last year. And I understand, but that's Odegaard is like a nomad up until now, and now it's his home. So I'm expecting him to go up a level. But in terms of scoring goals, being physical, besides Thomas Partey, but Thomas didn't. I mean, we've seen Thomas shoot. Right, we've seen Thomas shoot. So, um, it's it's interesting. Can he be dynamic? And I think we have to we have to accept a little bit of the part that we don't know, and we don't know what the what it's looking like under the hood. Like, say somebody wants you to, yeah, you could say, yeah, but we don't know what's going on under the hood, is what I'll say. We're not privy to that. We look at his age, we look at the fact that we absolutely love him, and we say, hey, it's a no-brainer. For me, and I would just say from my laypersons, we're over here. We're not privy to his medical records and things like that. We just know things haven't worked out at different clubs for other reasons. I would just love him for morale reasons. To have people who grew up here and who love being here and who understand the pride in putting that shirt on. I don't think we have enough of those people. I think sometimes, we come into a situation where we get players from all over the world coming into this massive club, but sometimes, and most times, it's the people who come up through the academy who really show love for the actual club, and Jack's one of them. And it's easy to say, he's better than El Nini. I'm not going to go into this. Same, and it's free. You're right. You're right. You are right, and it would be free. However, we would be taking up a spot, and I think that if he came, he would want to play. I was gonna say, like, maybe we can bring him in on like one of those like Robert Perez kind of things or something like that, where he's just around helping people train, but he's not that old. Perez has been around forever helping people train, but I think that like people who came in, like players who we bought, and then you go to you show up to training your first day or something like that, and you see Robert Perez. Could you imagine that? Like, the club bring you in, you're already excited. You're coming to Arsenal Football Club. And then all of a sudden you see Robert Perez. Okay. Did you see the other yesterday when Messi was getting ready to go in and he was warming up and stuff like that, and he seen Thierry Henry and Mbappe saw him too. See how I just went over and hugged him? Right? What if and so I just like that kind of vibe. I don't know what the engine room is looking like. I don't know what it's looking like under the hood. I don't want to bring him in for sentimental reasons. And then, we're taking this kind of gamble, and then he gets out on the pitch and, breaks down again. I don't want to see that. My memories of Jack are, winning the FA Cup, and, and he's asking specific questions about, our love or not of Tottenham. That's, and I love him for it. So yeah, I mean, I would bring him in, but I think the issue is we need so much. We need so much. I would actually like to see him come here and play. I don't know how his family dynamic works and things like that. I would love. I'm here right outside of DC on the Virginia side. I would love, just like we have Rooney here. I would love him to come play for DC United. I would. Oh man, ah, I'm getting steamed up even thinking about something like that. That would be amazing. I would love that. But yeah, so I would. We'll see. I meid you said we have all these players leaving. I mean, we have William. It looks like, lately, within the past hour or two, we're having Bellerin. Maybe, we say these things, but we thought Kolasinac was leaving. We thought Xhaka was leaving. All that twerking he was doing online and things like that. I mean, and they're still here. No, and not only are they still here, they're starting in games. So, I until what is it for us? 10 o'clock on tomorrow night, 10, 11 o'clock. I'll, you know, no, it's 6 o'clock for I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anywho, so let's jump back to Ainsley. So Ainsley says, all I want to do is I want to go to a place and play. So obviously he has it in his mind. I know I've watched so many podcasts and they've been great. I've watched so many YouTube shows and things like that have been great. But I think sometimes we need to, when somebody says something or somebody is something, we need to believe him. He says he wants to go. So despite me personally not wanting him to go, because I can look at that squad and say, wow, you are better than A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It doesn't matter and he could believe it too. The only person that it matters to is the manager, and the manager won't play him. He won't play him. You trying to tell me that he's not better than Cedric? He's not better than Bellerin? He's not better than Chambers? In the midfield, he's not better than El Nini? He's not, I mean, we'll get on Xhaka later, but I'm not gonna go that far. Sometimes, I really wish he went to Roma. That's all I'll say. I just really wish he went there. Just because people talk about they lowballed us. I have an argument for that. I don't think they lowballed us. I think that's its value. If it wasn't, then why all these Premier League clubs? No one came in for him. Not a single other club. Jose knows him because Jose has been playing against him for years. And he likes that. That's why he bought what's the guy from Tottenham? Hoiberg. He kind of plays like that. I think Hoiberg's a little bit better, but he probably wanted a person like that, a person who could, meander around midfield and, sort of make things happen. But I think in the Premier League, that person needs to be have, even if that's not their job, they need to at least have the engine to turn it on. They at least need to be able to turn it on at some point. So, anywho, so and Ainsley wants to, then okay. So here was the other thing. Oh well, Ainsley this all started because Ainsley wanted to play in midfield. And if you remember the article said he said he would prefer to play in midfield. He never said, I want to play here, full stop. Don't put me at right back on. If you sub me on, I'm walking right back off. It's not what he said. He said, I would prefer to play in midfield. Just like Aubameyang says all the time. Remember after the West Brom game, what did he say? Because they asked him, he's like, well, obviously the club knows, I like to play through the middle and get played in. It's the same thing. Players have preferences. Okay, think about football. There's some people who like to be be the deep guy. There's some guys who like to be the slot guy. They might say that. Now all of a sudden we got to take this kid and hold his feet to the fire because somebody asked him a question and he talked about his preference. Obviously, in this club, it doesn't make too much of a difference because we saw Odegaard playing an 8 against Man City. So does it really matter? And I remember one of the preseason games when Ainsley came in, he was playing in midfield. But anywho, so Ornstein came out and said, put out a post that said Ainsley from the start of the season said he wants to be the established player at right back. That's what he wants to do. And that he hasn't mentioned playing in central midfield at all because he got picked to play for England as a right back. He wants to get to the World Cup. And playing that right back is where he's going to go. It doesn't, if he's going to get picked, that's where he's going to get picked from. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. So I'm sure a person who's been playing football since they were a kid understands this. So he probably had that conversation. Now, I've seen some things where people say, oh, well, they remember what he said last year. And because he said this, we're going to hold him to it. Are you trying to imply that our manager is not flexible enough to understand the plight of a player who just wants to play? Oh, well, because you said this, he can't come into it. Boss, let me talk to you for a minute. I know, last year was last year. I'm putting my head down. I want to play. And he's going to say, oh, and that's not what you said last year. That's the type of manager we have? Come on now. Come on. No way. And if it is, that's bad man management. And you know it. You can't be that inflexible. You are not in a position. The team is not in that position to be able to move like that. But if we look through history with this manager, he moves like that. Somebody says something and then there's it. Because you seen right after this post came out, he probably got called so fast. So fast. So that tells you that someone monitors this stuff, that the club knows, like when we're talking on Twitter and things like that, someone's monitoring these things, right? And he stepped it up a ballsy level. He even tagged the club. So I'm sure the admin was like, I need to send this one up the chain. This ain't going to go down well. I'm sure the admin was probably like, whoa. Okay. And then you seen the media come out, oh, they had showdown talks. They pulled him in, Edu pulled him in. And what did it say? And this is the thing that got me. What did it say? That they were more concerned about him posting than they wanted to talk about his actual future. Guys, these are the people that we're dealing with. Could you imagine having a boss like this who totally ignored you at work, even though you were trying to make moves, uplift yourself, do the right thing at work, keep your head down, be reliable, keep yourself educated, and nothing. Nothing. There's always a guy ahead of you. There's always a girl ahead of you. There's always someone ahead of you. Even the new people they bring in jump in ahead of you. Right? No matter what you do, you can't get ahead in your job. Right? And then you go online and you express like, wow, all I want to do is go somewhere where people want me there and that want me to play and they want me to work. And now all of a sudden you've gotten everybody's attention. I mean, you can have an argument about whether that was right or wrong, but players want to play. Real players, real ballers want to play. They're not there to be not even on the bench. Or to know if you're on the bench, you're definitely not playing unless like somebody breaks their leg and then another guy gets sent off or something like that. He hasn't played him. He played Cedric. Let me say it again for the people in the back. He played Cedric. Come on, y'all. Grab some coffee. Hope you guys enjoy. So, I understand. And put yourself in his shoes. I don't understand a lot of things that this management does. So it's hard for me to put myself in their shoes a lot of times because I only go on the moves you make. I don't care about what you say. I don't care about the press releases you come out with and the lip service that you say. I care about the things that you actually do that I can measure. And the things that you do, I a lot of times I can't empathize with them. Right? I'm seeing players who should play rotting on the bench, practicing this and that. Remember all this stuff? Oh, non-negotiable, blah, blah, blah. Play hard, this and that. Doesn't matter. New lineup every week. Oh, we want everybody to play at the we want 3 at the back, make sure we don't get battered. Oh, we'll do 3 at the back. We'll do that. We'll do 3 at the back, but it won't be the 3 at the back or the 5 at the back that you want. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit because hashtag I'm a genius. So, so it came out. They don't want him to leave, and I think his argument is they told him that he could leave, and so there's an argument, to be had about going to a rival, I guess, and that's a realization that we have to make is that Everton we're at Everton's level now. We've dropped down to Everton's level. We've spent the history of the club being among the best of the best. Now we're at Everton's level. And so they came in for a player who could make their team obviously make them better in several positions, a very, very versatile player. And the club were like, no, wait a minute. He gonna go there and make them better. So if we're gonna sell him, or if we're gonna get rid of him, we need some money. We need to replace that person with a person who's better. So in that instance, I understand. So what do you do? The answer is I don't know. As a fan, I want him around, but I actually want him to play. I think that if you're not going to play him, which Again, I'm not talking about what you say. Oh, he's part of my plans. We always say that, part of my plans, part of my plans. Why don't you play him? You play people who are part of your plans. And if you're not going to play him, then let him go. You've invested how many millions of dollars since he was, 8 or 9 years old? He's been here that long. He's like 21, 22. He's been here his entire life. He's been at the club. You've invested so many millions of dollars. If you're not going to play him, and Mikel is the manager, he makes the decisions, the buck stops with him. If you're not going to play him, which is what he's saying, then let him go play. Tell them to come with some money. Tell them it's a loan with an obligation, $20 million. Or it was like 18, like a 17, $3 million loan, 18 million next year. Or 17 million next year. Get them for 20. Okay, take that, okay, that's money off the books. Let's go do something else. Okay, now do El Nini. Now do Bellerin. Now do Cedric. Now do Chambers. Now do Holding. But do something. It's like we're sitting on our hands and it's 0 hour. It's ridiculous. Somebody came in for him and now he's upset. And I get that. But now watch what happens. They're going to be but they've already said, and they've let it be known, that they're more upset about him posting than anything. It's desperation. No one does this. It's desperation. He wants to play. You've told him too many lies to his face. He would understand if he was actually playing, even a little bit. But he never plays. We don't understand it. You clearly understand it. But he doesn't understand it because he never plays. So he wants to go play. I don't know what Tell me, guys, tell me in the chat what you think. Because I legitimately don't understand. I don't think, I know the people, oh, it's unprofessional. We're living in the past with that. I'm surprised more people don't do it. But I think for our friends across the pond, it's shocking to them to see somebody do that. But here we see basketball players, football players, baseball players do it all the time. They don't come out and, but I have actually, I have seen people who have asked for trades. I'm talking about. People do it all the time. So it's kind of I don't want to say it's the norm, but I'm used to it happening here. And I think, over there, people are like, oh, it's disgusting. Keep those things within the club. Well, in the perfect world, yes. But in a company ran ridiculously, not so much. I think the players are getting fed up. Yeah, so that's my take on that. It's disheartening because I like Ainsley, but I wouldn't have been upset. Just like I'm not upset that we sold Joe to Newcastle. Last year, if we would have sold Ainsley to Wolves when they came in, and I know, hindsight being 2020, we wouldn't have had him and we wouldn't have, did the FA Cup and all that type of stuff, right? But that's those type of performances is what made Wolves want to come in for him. He did something worth value. We want all these players who don't do anything week in, week out. We want them going for big money, and they don't do anything. And so the club doesn't. Why nobody coming in for our players? Because week in, week out, you showcase to the world. We have one of the biggest audiences in the world. Arsenal Football Club do, and week in, week out, we show the world that some of these players aren't fit to wear the shirt. So you think that people are just going to come in and just offer you millions for them? What type of sense does that make? Ainsley did his thing in the FA Cup, and throughout, kind of, was playing right back, was playing left back, was playing wing back. He was doing his thing. So Wolves came in 20 million. No, 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 we can't. Right, and then we ended up loaning him anyway. That's the thing. Like, again, I talked about this yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again today. We get mad at the wrong people. Now we are here. Now it was yesterday. It was Harry Simeo. It was Arsenal Fan TV. It was the Highbury squad. It was YouTubers. It was people on Twitter. It was all these people, right? Oh, well, people don't understand because they don't go to the club and this and that, and that's the problem. That's why Arsenal on the decline. No. So today, now it's Ainsley's turn. Now it's Ainsley's fault that the club aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Come on now. You're taking your eye off the prize again. Put it back on. I thought we had this discussion yesterday. If you weren't here, go back and check the notes from yesterday. We this was the whole conversation. I put out like a 12-minute video yesterday, just talking about like how all this stuff. This is on the periphery. All the fan channels, things like this, all these things where fans just talking, having conversations among themselves, talking about, getting the club back to its former glory, all this type of stuff, whether you're extremely positive, somewhere in the middle, extremely negative, it's all the same thing. It's on the periphery. None of it should have anything to do with the dealings and performances that we see from the management and the players. But we constantly amongst ourselves, instead of blaming them for what they do, we're blaming each other. And I just, for one, don't understand it. And it seems like we're doing it again. We're looking for it. It's going to be, oh, it's Ainsley's fault because he's being unprofessional. He would have been able to go if he just would have, hunkered down, kept his head down and played. No, sometimes you need to make a little noise. Get me out of here. Trust me, I guarantee you he loves Arsenal Football Club just as much as we do. But what he does at Arsenal Football Club is play football, and he doesn't get to play. Not everybody who loves Arsenal gets to play for Arsenal. Right? Don't you think Joe Willock wants to be here? Do you think RVP wanted to leave? When he was thinking about let's think about it when he was deciding to go, right, in his mind. Right? Did he want? No. Of course he didn't. And then we know that now. He saw the writing on the wall before any of us did, and we called him a snake and a Judas and blah, 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 blah. Right? But he was on the inside and we weren't. So we saw the reaction that he did, and he made the note, he, wrote the response and this and that. And we were like, oh, well, you're a Judas. You didn't have to go to Man United though, and this and that. Right? He was inside. He saw the writings on the wall and said, you know what? I love my man Wenger. It's my homie. But the rest of you clowns, you ain't about that life. You ain't about it. There's ownership. They ain't about that life. So he rolled. And he was only active a few more years after that. He got his trophy, though. He went and played. Didn't he win the Golden Boot that year when he went to Man United? I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, we take our eyes off the prize. We constantly take our eyes off the prize, and we got to stop it. We got to stop it. So that's that. So we move on. Let me know in the chat, even if you're watching it live, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you're watching this afterwards. The chat is always active, so you can leave me notes in the chat. Guna Girl, thanks for the shout. Thanks for the retweet. I appreciate that. Appreciate the love. Please, please, please reach out. Let's do a stream. Let's hop on. I mean, this technology, I can get you on in a heartbeat. So let's move on. It's been a wild night. It has been a wild night. Let's talk about William. Let me pull Williams info up. Clicking the wrong thing here. Yeah, let's pull William up and see, because officially we know now that he's separated himself from the club. He terminated his contract. And yeah, he's going back to Brazil. Play for his boyhood club. Let's see. Yeah, he's put a lot of montages on about, European soccer and things like that. And hey. No, not that. Let's share. Share the screen. Share the screen. What do you guys think about this? Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people wanted him out of here. For me, I can be two things. I can be grateful that he left the way he left with class. He said he wanted to leave with his head held high, and I appreciate that. I wish more people did it, but I understand why they don't, because most people are not in a position to leave that much money on the table. I'm sure I think he has several business ventures and things like that outside of football, which is what I wish a lot of them did. A lot of players did. And but at the same time, I think it was, if not the most, not the worst, amongst the worst, definitely top 5 worst moves professionally, business moves that we have ever made in the history of Arsenal Football Club. When you compare the player, where he came from, his age, and how much money they were paying him, that makes it like, it's just unbelievable. Whoever signed off on this deal should be investigated. No, that's no cap. And he wrote like a beautiful beautiful letter. Somebody had it somewhere. I don't know. I saw it somewhere. He just said that, hey, things didn't work out. I came with the intention of doing big things there. It didn't work out. Yeah, here it is. Let me pull this up. Hear my dog. Got a pit bull. He's upstairs barking. That's what pit bulls do. He said, I would like to thank Arsenal for the opportunity they have given me and for the warm welcome received by everybody at the club. Unfortunately, things on the pitch didn't go the way we had all planned and hoped. I received a lot of criticism, especially from some members of the press, that I had come here for financial reasons. I hope with my actions today explains to those people, and they now understand that this was not the case. I hope it teaches some people that they should not be so quick to pass judgment and create bad environments to make themselves important, even though I accept that's part of the game. All my career, I have done everything to be the best I can be. I always want to win, and I find it hard to accept not doing so. Unfortunately, it did not happen for me at Arsenal, and I'm sorry about this. I came to England in 2013, and I have enjoyed every minute of my time here. I want to thank everyone who has helped me along the way to play in this wonderful league that is full of heart and spirit. To the Arsenal fans, I'm sorry we never got to meet properly due to the pandemic, but I know your desire for your success and your support for the club is incredible. So I wish you all the best for the future, because you deserve it. To everyone else involved with this historic club, I wish you all the best for the future. Well written. Well written. Well written. So I know that he received a tremendous amount of abuse, a tremendous amount. And some people, and I think that sometimes we need to understand that things, sometimes things are on the spectrum. I'm sure he got way more support than he got abuse at the. I mean, I'm sure he got towards the end. It got pretty bad, but still, I mean, these guys probably get tremendous of support from all over the world. In our vacuum of Arsenal Twitter, things probably were not as good, and we know for a fact that they see everything that we post. And so, I mean, I think sometimes people get so emotional and so bent out of shape that they can't help to write the most vitriolic things that they can think of at the time, instead of just taking a step back, taking a deep breath, because there's nothing wrong. And into like the ultra positive people saying you can never criticize and things like that. That's just support the club. They have the shirt on. Well, I mean, yeah, but sometimes people, I mean, we're not, none of us are perfect. Right. And I talked about this yesterday. Sometimes even the ultra supportive people, sometimes you're wrong too. There's an overlapping space between overly ultra positive and overly ultra negative. There's some overlap in that space. You think about like that Venn diagram thing, like where you're super positive and super negative, y'all have some overlap there, because you're not being totally truthful. You're not seeing things, and it doesn't matter. If you're overly negative, you don't see anything that person does and you don't care because you don't like them personally or whatever. And if you're super positive, they can never do wrong, even though they do. So we need to bring everything back to reality. And if you're a player who can accept criticism, I think then you shouldn't be on these platforms. They are tremendously divisive sometimes. And if you can't handle it, right? Don't get on it. You don't need to be on these programs. There are so many different things you can use to communicate with friends and family, WhatsApp and all these different things, that you don't need to be on social, or have somebody else run these accounts for you, which is what I hope a lot of them do. But a lot of these guys aren't big enough. They haven't gotten to a point where they need somebody, and they enjoy the interaction. Because you see guys who come out when they drop a stink bomb and they say, like, yeah, I blew it. Right? And what happens? You see people say, yo, you know what? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. But come back stronger next time. I think what did it for William was that it was pretty obvious pretty early that he wasn't it. And instead of, and you never know if it comes from like pressure from up top, or we paid so much money for him. We wanted to see Reece Nelson and Pepe play. And he consistently stuck with them. And I think that fact annoyed so many fans. And we were awful. We can't, got to get that in. We were awful. He was playing him. And these other guys who were like, okay, well, we know, okay, we've seen William. We've seen him at Chelsea. This is clearly not working because either he's had a dramatic decrease in form, or the playing style, management style, whatever, maybe just the general vibes of Arsenal aren't working for him. But for whatever reason, it was clear pretty early that it wasn't happening. And again, these managers decided to stick with him because they invested a lot of money into him. They didn't pay anything in transfers, but they were dropping $250K a week. So they needed some ROI. And they thought, like, okay, once he gets settled, you remember all the quotes from Edu? Oh, well, we made a good decision. Champions League, 3 years, blah, 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 get him back. It was clear early it wasn't going to work. He had the first game, was it against Fulham, when he had 3 assists? And then after that, right? Okay. You just bought a guy for $75 million who needs to, get with the program. We have a young player who just came back on loan from Germany who needs to reintegrate once he gets healthy. Let's get him in there. Now, I'm not this person who thinks that like young players can do it all and we can just go with all young players. I'm not saying that, but his time, I think that he would have been spared, and I think that the club would have been spared a little bit of embarrassment if you wouldn't have played him as much and let him come off the bench and keep coming off the bench until he got his feet up under him. And I know it's weird to say, like, it's Willian, he's been here forever, but you never know. You never know. I mean, he balled out for Chelsea year before last. Absolutely balled out. Like I said, if you follow this stream, I live with a Chelsea fan. And so I watch a lot of their games. And he did ball out year before last. Now, that didn't make me want him at my club because I didn't want anybody of that age. And I'm not being ageist or anything like that, but I wanted someone in their prime, not someone. I don't want us to become a retirement home just because we aren't doing very well and somebody can come and get a bag. It's not, that's not what I'm looking for. And whether you want to believe that or not, that's kind of what this was. He came here looking for a bag because Chelsea weren't willing to extend his deal out 2-3 years. Of course they wouldn't. Why would they do that on the wages that he's on at his age? Why would you do that? He can't help you get any further into the Champions League than you are. He's not like developing more to this like world-class player. He's going the opposite way. So why would you pay it? So if you ask yourself, if Chelsea wouldn't do it, why would we? He's not some young player like Eddie, who we got when he was younger and left their academy and came over here. That's not that type of situation. We're talking about a guy who's in his 30s. Why are we willing to do these things when quite obviously our contemporaries aren't? And if the answer is not obvious to you, then you have to look a little bit deeper and say, there's a bunch of relationships. Anywho, I digress. It's over. We got from up under what I think it's like $20 million or something like that. We got from up under that. He gets to go back to his boyhood club where he first started and play. And I'm sure he'll probably do pretty good over there. Who knows? I don't know. I don't watch any Brazilian soccer except internationals when the USA get dusted off by them. And so yeah, that's that. Hey, it's here. It was here. We hated it. It's over. Okay. I'm sure people are going to try to beat people over the head with it. I mean, like it or not, however they got out of it, this management got out of it. So I beat them over the head when they do things wrong. Even if they're not solely responsible for it, I'm going to give them credit when they do something good. They needed to get from up under this. They made it apparent to him that it wasn't working out. And he said, okay. So we're out of it. So where does that leave us? I have no idea. No idea where that leaves us. I really don't know. Do not know. Oh man, it's so wild. I mean, it just, the things that we do, I just don't understand. Oh, we were gonna talk about Bellerin. So yeah, so as I was, setting things up for the stream and stuff, I checked Twitter and it said, people were saying their goodbyes to Bellerin. And I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah, and I saw that, like, he's gonna go back to his boyhood club, Real Betis. And so he's supposed to be hopping on the plane and complete his loan. I still don't know what that means for us. Are we just losing a player? Are we actually gonna play Ainsley Maitland-Niles now? Are we gonna bring in someone else? I have no idea what that means, so I don't really know how to feel about it. My personal thoughts about Bellerin is, like I don't think that like I'm gonna diverge from the chat too much, but I'll just say that like, hey, I am like you. He's an academy kid, and I wanted him to succeed, and he had some tremendous speed. But I think that we did the thing that we always do at Arsenal Football Club. We want our young players to succeed so much that we don't provide them with the adequate competition. I mean, if you look around at the top clubs, do you see Man City playing a lot of their people in their academy? And they have a very good academy. It's like world class now because they've like revamped it and put a bunch of money into it, and everybody's kid wants to go there and stuff like that. And they were competing with Man United, have kind of surpassed them in terms of like their academy and things like that. But do you see you got Phil Foden? And that's the list. Okay, during cup games and things like that, they win the league cup every year. You'll see young kids kind of playing in there and things like that. You don't see a lot of 20-year-olds like playing week in and week out. Okay? Look at Chelsea. I mean, in terms of sheer volume, they probably pump out the most recruits, and they win like the under, like the under 23s every year. They go pretty far. They're always up there. And they're a lone machine. They're getting their players experience playing in other places because they know that it takes a special talent to play for Chelsea in the first team, that the way it should be. You look at Liverpool, they're running a little bit closer to what I think the management here wants to run our club like, and they have a few more players. But if you look at in the money positions, goalkeeper, defenders, strikers, the forwards, no, they're ballers. They want to get the best and the brightest from all around the world, the people they can get their hands on. Then they buy from in the Premier League and things like that, and they're just an amazing evaluator of talent. But then they do have a lot of young players that they will bring through, and they make good money off of them. They don't try to shoehorn them into the first team just because they came from the academy. And this is where I think we fail. We don't have to do that, but we do. We think that every young player, remember when Aziz, and big shout to Aziz, he went to Portsmouth, right? But there were people saying Aziz should come into the first team and play because they didn't want to see Granit Xhaka play or El Nini. Why would you do that? I get it. I want to see him succeed. He'll probably be the next person I get on the back of a shirt. I got a Saka, right? With the third kit, like everybody else did probably, right? He'll probably be the next one. I really like Aziz, but he's not ready, right? There are only 2 young players that I think that should be playing week in and week out, starting for a major club. And that's Haaland and Mbappe. Everybody else, no. No. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong in that, but look at Saka and ESR's numbers. As much as we love them, as much as we want them to make the national teams and do well in the World Cups and the Euros and things like that, and I want them to remain at the club. At this point, we shouldn't be dependent upon them, but we do. So this is what we did with Hector Bellerin, right? All of a sudden, like we threw him in. I can't remember the particulars, but he came in and he had pace, baby. He had tracks. He was on that 100-meter dash thing. He was burning. I mean, remember that one where he like when they were in on goal and he did like they put like the fire emoji thing behind him and he was like road runner catching up to the dude and saved it. Like he was right. But again, that was after like when that happened, that was his spot. We never brought in competition for him. We were just like, all right, we found our right back. We never brought competition for him. And what happened? He got injured and injured badly. And that's not his fault. It's not his fault the injuries happen. But once that happened, it put us in a terrible position, right? Bad management. Every single position should have competition. Everybody should feel like if they don't produce, then they don't play. Everybody, right? Unless your name is Messi or Ronaldo or Neymar. Okay. We mean, there's some exceptions, but think about all the people who play football. And we're talking about a group of maybe 20 players who play week in and week out. That's about it. Everybody else should be fighting for their space. And definitely everybody at Arsenal Football Club. When things are too sweet, what did we say about Ozil? I mean, he's world class, and he is. I don't care what you say or what you think about the way he left or anything like that. We baller, right? But he got comfortable because he thought that, oh, well, right? Like, I dropped down to come to you guys for whatever you think, right? I don't care. You're not Messi and Ronaldo. You need to fight for your spot. No, what did we do? We paid him to stay, and he got $350 a week. And as soon as he got that money, so what we do. So anywho, he got injured, and people get injured, and people get injured badly, and they come back. But when you depend on a physical trait instead of a mental trait, it's a little bit harder to come back from, especially in the Premier League. And most of his game was built around his speed. He could be out of position. He could not be disciplined. He could not do certain things like a starting top 4 team right back should do because he had pace. But now he didn't have pace. And so a lot of the other deficiencies that he's had to deal with over the years are being exposed and have been exposed. And now you see us saying like, yo, we need a right back. The truth of the matter is we've needed a right back for 4 years. Probably longer. Because he's not that old. He's only 26. So 4 years ago, he was 22. Yeah, he's amazing. But we also ran him into the ground. When somebody only depends on pace, eventually that engine's going to break. So, and we've never replaced him. We haven't replaced him since. So he's leaving. It looks like, pins, ink's not dry. So, again, like William, like Joe, like everybody else who leaves, I wish him the best. But again, he's leaving he's going to go off to Spain and do whatever it is he's going to do. You and I are still here. So what does that mean for our club? Because now we just lost a player, whether we think he's quality or not, or it has been and whatever, or, damaged goods, whatever you think about him, right? We're losing players, but we're not getting anything. We haven't I haven't heard not a hair nor hide of a right back. And please don't say that they're not out there, because they are. You thought buying a center back was what we needed. We have those. Are they good? That's another story. But we have them. And you gave a guy a 4-year deal. After you got him in on like a 1-year deal, you extended it by 3 years. And he's not it. He's not it. So we'll see how that unfolds over the next 8 hours or so. If he actually does go to Batiste. And, I mean, we're doing this thing, we're leaving it late. It's just wild. Like if we were bringing in Messi and we were doing it, if we were like leaving it late because it's so much, but you look at that and he's probably close to being on $1 million a week because he was on a free. And they did that deal in less than a week. And here we are, fumbling the bag. That's what we do. Saw my post earlier. Vedu. If fumbling the bag was a person, it would be him. And I don't care about the vacation. Take your vacations. I don't care. But do your job. Do your job or get somebody in who can. Crunkies, if you're not going to leave and you're not going to, nobody's going to come in and all we want. I honestly don't understand why we have to even mention you. There should be enough management in between the players and you for things to get done the right way. But you don't understand that the only reason that we even bring you up is for two reasons. One, world football is one of the in a unique position where the owners can directly infuse funds into the club. Right? Most other major sports, NFL, Major League Baseball, they live under a salary cap. They can do some things, but not a lot. They got to worry about luxury tax and things like that. And they talk about FFP, but it seems like that only works with like the lower clubs. Certain clubs figure out a way to get around that, or they're smart like Chelsea. So why something might look like you paid 90 something million for somebody, you've sold like 85 million worth of people. So then the net spends like $5 million or something stupid like that. So we are just, I don't know where that leaves us. Okay, we got somebody off the books. We got we got 115 grand or something, 110 grand off the books. Okay, great. Fantastic. What are we going to do with that money? Because it's been allocated. That money has been allocated for paying players. Let's actually pay one that will help. Have we solved our own problem? We're going to bring in Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Now all of a sudden he's going to go from painting the benches to our starter just because of him complaining or something like that. I don't. Okay, I was going to say I guarantee, but I don't. I'm not going to say that. What I will say is I think that because of this, he won't get traded. I mean, he won't get sold, and he definitely won't play because Arteta has shown too many times. These young guys who cross him, he ain't about that life. He ain't about the. That's just not the type of person he is. He's not going to let you do whatever it is you want, right or wrong, and be able to play. So I don't think so. I think he's I'm sure he had to gain, he ran the numbers in his head, but he is, he's going to suffer for it. And I think that's why I would just be like, yo, get me out of here. He's not going to play me now. Definitely. He knows that he's not. Look what he did to Saliba after Saliba did the guessing game thing with him and Lacazette. And he was like, yo, he's like, you're an Arsenal player. He was like, yo, you were an Arsenal player. You actually get to play. Y'all remember that? Right? That was the beginning of the end when he was like hanging out in the under 23s. This brother over here doing, League One team of the years and man of the matches and this and that. He come over here and he under 23s. Right. But it's he has issues and this and that. It's because he wanted to go. Oh, well, we wanted him to go on loan to a Premier League club. So he wanted to go back to France. Why does he need to go on loan at all? Is there anybody in the chat either watching this live or will watch this after it's done who thinks that William Saliba isn't better than the people who played Saturday? Mm-mm. I don't even know if William Saliba is not better than Ben White because we haven't seen enough of him. You know, there's no slight against him. Well, Saliba has played more than White has. William Saliba's been playing in the top flight has been playing in the top flight in League One for years. Ben White has only had 1 year in the Prem. Before that, he was in the championship and going down and down and down. This kid has been playing since he was 17, 18 years old, and it's in top flight. Anywho, I don't know where we're going. I really don't. I'm interested to see how tomorrow's going to play out. Is anything going on Twitter? Let me just make one check before we jump. Emerson Royal picking Tottenham over Arsenal tells you everything you need to know about the deadline. I mean, the decline in both quality and respect of our club. That's only if it's true. Oh, somebody's saying, yeah, okay. Well, there's a lot of people confirming that Bellerin's leaving. I don't know. We'll see. What did you guys think about Granite Jacket posting? I mean, it's like a picture of him going to he's showing up for international duty. And he's just like, he's smiling, like, hey, time to put some work into the, we move towards the World Cup. What do we think about that? And we're like, wow, that's cool. What's this? One rumor I saw is Edu out or Omar's in, which would be cool. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I'm I don't I'm sure he has more experience. I just don't know how much. I'm sure it's probably a lot, right? Because I haven't seen many people shoot. I've seen things about him, and I haven't seen many people shooting it down. Because I'm sure he's probably done a good job at Ajax. I'm just wary about people who played before. That's all. For us, that's all. Because whatever we think about Edu, some of the deals he did were, as the kids say, a little sus, right? Whatever we think about that, I'm worried that another person who played for the club and highly respected amongst us, who comes in, not, I don't want that person. So instead of, the Brazilian guys and this and that and Portuguese guys doing things, now we got to worry about other people doing this. Like, oh, he's going to bring his guys in, versus someone who's neutral. Like, I saw that Liverpool was losing their the guy who brings all their players in, does all their deals. And I'm like, Kevin Richards, I think his name is. Get that guy. Liverpool, I mean, some of the people they have sold for money, I'm like, this guy is like, his nickname should be like King Finesse. Seriously, because he's made some. I mean, he makes our Iwobi deal seem like nothing, and we definitely finessed. We finessed Everton. Definitely got over on them. We got over on the Liverpool for buying buying the Ox. Right? What good deals have we made since then? Clock in. Tell me. Tell me a good deal we made. Sold. Selling people. Not necessarily buying people. But selling people. Be hard pressed. I think that in terms of buying, I think the best deal, you're right. Absolutely nothing. I think the best deal in terms of buying we've done lately is probably Gabriel. I don't know what you think about that. I think that Gabriel has been the best buy. I think that, thank God he is coming back. Hopefully he doesn't go back out to Brazil to train or something like that. Hopefully he stays and gets fit and stuff like that. Thomas Partey, I don't really I don't count that, and I know that would probably be a shout, but that was a release clause that we paid on deadline day. Anybody can do that. Clocking, you can get hired tomorrow and say, "Give me $50 million. I'm going to go pay a release clause to somebody and bring them in." You could do that. It's easy, right? All you have to do is get approved for the money, and they approved it. We can do that. I'm talking about making smart money buys and smart money sells. We are absolutely awful at it. We stink at deals. And so I saw that guy this morning. That was one of the first things I saw when I was having my coffee this morning. Is I saw that guy was leaving, and they were trying to convince him to stay. And I don't know what's happening, or maybe he doesn't want to pay some of these players the money that they want, because I know they have a lot of players that are up for deals. And maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's like, oh, we can. No, we made smart moves before. We'll make smart moves after this. We got the coach that we want, right? He has a proven track record of making things work in our system. Let's get the regens in. Let's get some of these players out there get a little bit old. Let's not pay them big money, because you see immediately after Salah scored those 2 goals, his agent could not wait to get on Twitter and start capping for his man, right? And, he's probably saying, "Nah, that's not the way I roll. We shouldn't play these players like that." I wonder if that's it. And if it's not, then if it is, right, we need some of that. We need some of that. Now, I know, we talk about Aubameyang on 350, and I wanted Aubameyang to stay because he was cooking. He was cooking. And I wanted him to stay. But I'm not gonna do the hindsight thing. I'll just say I don't think, and this could be I don't know how much guys make in the NBA per week, or the NFL, or MLB. I don't think there are many players out there worth over I would say 250 a week. I just don't think there are many. Right? I think that once you start paying players that much money, this 350s, 300s, and all this type of stuff, I think that you're almost hamstrung. You can't bring in any competition for them, because then you're worried about, their mood and this and that and all this. No, if you want to be here, you want to be part of this project, and we'll pay you accordingly, or we'll sell you. That's it. I wanted Aubameyang when he was at Saint Etienne. I wanted him then. I knew he was I was watching like comps and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, man, he is a legit baller. God, it'd be great if we can get him. When Van Persie left, I wanted him then, and we bought Giroud. Then he went to Dortmund, because Dortmund, so whoever scouts like the young people, or whatever, like Dortmund or like RB Leipzig do to get the young talents in to blend with our talent, we need that guy. We need the trainer, or whoever gets these guys swole from Bayern Munich, who gets these guys just like, you see those pictures of them, like the before and afters, and you're like, yo, like what's going on? We need that guy. And then we need this guy from Liverpool. We need this guy from Liverpool that makes these deals happen, to say, like, you know what, you might not like it, but we're not paying that. Don't like it, we'll replace you. I guarantee. And things, we'll see. Time will tell. If this guy genuinely does leave, the next team he goes to, we should monitor. It should be us. It should be us, but probably not. I don't know. And if they continue doing their thing, then maybe he doesn't deserve all the shine he gets. But if they don't, and they overpay for Salah or something like that, and then they're kind of stuck with him, and Salah's still a baller, so I'm sure he'll still doing his thing because Klopp is still there, right? But they won't be able to get players in and get players out like they were. So I'll be interested to see how that works. But I would like that guy. Would you say Clock in? I don't think buying is going to be at all easy for Arsenal anymore. Look where we are on the table. Um, maybe. I think that the location of the club, I think this whole, like, we were invincible, Thierry Henry. I think we're quickly losing that luster. I mean, we are losing that quickly, you know? And so I think that what are going to have to do, I think one of the things that we still have on our side is that because our brand is so big, we can play higher wages. We can pay higher wages to some of these people, especially if you're coming from outside of the UK. A lot of these guys are on like 70, 80,000 a week. And if we come in and say, all right, we can give you 110, 120, they're like, oh, and I'm gonna be in London. I'm not gonna be like in the middle of nowhere in some town or something like that. So a place that's not as cosmopolitan, especially if you're coming into London and you're not from the UK, then going to like a smaller club or a different place, they might not have the food that you like, or many people of your culture, or nobody speaks your language, versus you come into a place that's as cosmopolitan as London is, and there's probably a community of like-minded people like you there. And so I think for like a lot of these guys and their families and things like that, they sort of consider that. Plus, of course, you can get more money. But I think that we need somebody in charge who doesn't go overboard with that, because we as fans gas these players up so much, they use it as leverage. And then all of a sudden, we end up with two people in a row on 350 grand a week, and then one on 250 a week. And they're producing absolutely nothing. I want my man Alba to succeed so bad. But like, did you like, so the West Brom game, what I didn't like go overboard with that. I was happy just to see us win and score goals, because it felt like it legitimately had been months, because we hadn't scored anything since that game against Watford that we played from our next door neighbors, in our backyard or whatever. Like, that was the last time I saw someone scores goals. So I was just happy to see us score goals. But what I saw from that game was playing Alba through the middle and playing him through balls, he can still cook. That's the only thing I took from that. That's it. Right? That's the only thing I took from that. Nothing else. And that's really all I was looking for. Okay, Alba's playing down the middle. Right. And there was times I just was like, through ball, through ball, through ball, and Pepe was getting them. Saka was doing his thing, and Abummy, and they were playing Abummy, and he was in right positions. You can tell like his juices were flowing. He was ready to rock and roll. He was like, yeah, this is what I've been missing. This is what I need to cook. Right. And that's the only thing I took from that. That's it. I understand they were like the West Brom under 15s or something like that. And, I didn't think they're like, oh, we back, baby. We back. No, I didn't think none of that. I just thought like, okay, physically, I looked at Aubameyang during that game and said, okay, in the right environment, under the right management style, under the right game plan, this brother can cook. Right. And then what happened in Man City? People dropping, giving him ones out of tens. I was the same way, but it wasn't because of his effort. It was because we had no shots. We playing three at the back. We didn't turn Odegaard into a box to box. What? All right, I'm not gonna go back to that game. I ain't going back to that game. I ain't go back to that. Right? And so clock in. That's what I'm talking about. Like, in terms of like look how like London appeals to a player like Aubameyang, and to Lacazette, and to Pepe, to players like that. Right? Look how Aubameyang's, Lambos, and got him a Twitch gaming team and things like that. I mean, if he decided to go to some like team in the middle of nowhere in Spain or Germany or something like that, right? In France, I mean, he grew up playing in France, but it's either Paris or it's right. But London, it would just be like playing in like LA or New York or, to a little bit lesser extent, like DC or Miami or something like that. Why do you think Tampa Bay keeps getting players? Why do you think people always want to go to the Heat? You know, you never see people like, what, I'm taking my talents to Milwaukee. Sometimes, it's not everything, but it's a factor, I think. And so, yeah, so I just don't know where we are, and we'll know more in 24 hours. We'll know more. I genuinely don't know. I guess, what do you want to see? I would love to see us, you know, confirm Reese Nelson's leaving, which I think he is, right? I would love to see Balogun go out on loan because I think he's got something. But again, thinking that he should be playing week in and week out, that's not fair to him, and it's not fair to us. So, and so I would love to see him go out on loan, and I don't care who it's to, long as under the stipulate he's going to get managed well, and he's going to get opportunities to play week in and week out, and let's see how he does. Okay, obviously, like we think for some reason under 23s are like, well, they played under 23s. Eddie, he was the England under 23. He's a world record holder. I mean, come on. We should have sent Eddie out on loan. Eddie shouldn't even be sniffing the first team. Right? And so what happened to Eddie? Eddie scored a few goals, a few tap ins here and there and things like that, but he's not, because he doesn't play consistently, then he started being awful, and then we started getting on him, which is what we do. We have this vicious cycle. We don't give them a fair opportunity through loans and playing and things like that. We have them sit on the bench, and then when all of a sudden, because of injuries or something like that, they get hurt, then we want to pound on them. It's not fair. And it's not the way you run a club. It's not the way you run a club. It's not the way you develop players' careers. I don't care what they want to do. But the problem is they look at the first team and they see some of our players, and you know what? They say, you know what? I can get in there. I like some of these players, but I can, I can make my way. Now, you should look at the first team and say, no shot. No shot. That's the way you should look at the first team. Like wow, something happened, this and that. They paid this dude's release clause out of nowhere. They called me up and then I balled. That's the way it should be. Stop treating these kids like they they came out of the Holy Grail or something like that. I love Saka. I love Smith Rowe. I love Aziz. I like Kiddo Hart Taylor. I like Hutchison. You they're doing it already. Oh, let's bring them up, man. No. Let them play in the under 23s, like Hutchison and Kiddo Taylor Hart. You can see, you can tell. You can tell. If you watch the under 20, I watched the last one. If you watch them, those two, Kiddo Taylor Hart and Omari Hutchison, are clearly above the under 23. They're clearly they're above, right? Get them out. As soon as they're identified as okay, they're up a level. Get them going somewhere in a championship or something like that, wherever, Germany. I don't care, right? Somewhere where they can play some men and play week out and week out, week in and week out, get dirty. and see how it is to like fight for a place. Not just because you're the kid from Arsenal, we brought you in, we should play. No, get in there where they obviously have identified your talent and brought you in to play, but you got to fight for it. And so that they can get the mindset of like, yeah, I came from Arsenal, but that's not the end. That doesn't guarantee me a spot. Get these players out on loan so that they can play, so that when we need them, that they actually the moment's not too big for them, or if another club wants to come in and pay 40, 35, 45 mil for them, and we don't need them at this time, and we're not going to need them because we have a legit baller in that position, sell them. Right? We're too emotional. Time is almost 10:30. All right. I think that's it. We will reconvene tomorrow night. Do me a favor. Can I get a like? Yeah. Again, I'm here for the long haul. So I recognize, and there are not many people who watch this. There are more people who watch it afterwards than watch it during. So I appreciate, and I'm gonna keep reaching out to people. I'm gonna keep trying to grow this channel, and to all gooners all around the world. I want to link up, and yeah, it's gonna be here. I'm going to stream as much as I possibly can. Thank you to my Twitch followers. Thank you to the people on YouTube. I sincerely appreciate it. But yeah, we're gonna reconvene tomorrow and see. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull up the entire roster, and we're gonna say they're here now. What's he gonna do? Because we got some time. We got an international break, so we got a week to Well, I guess we got 2 weeks to kind of reassess this thing and see where we are. I mean, I know AFC Bale said that it was some major news coming about the and that might have been what you were talking about, clock in. The Bills said something was going to come out about the management, and that was going to be like embarrassing or something like that. Ugh. Every time I wake up in the morning, I'm getting the kids ready for school. Bill always has a tweet lately. So, I wake up, take my dog out, get my coffee, get my kids ready. Then I look at Bill's tweet and I'm like, okay. So, so we'll see. And then we will reevaluate the squad at that time. It's been fun. Clock in. I don't know if you're a guy or girl, but I appreciate it. It's been fun. It's made that, your interaction has made this infinitely more fun for me. And I hope that if you can do me a favor and tell your friends, let's jump on, let's talk. I can even get you on screen. We can do this thing. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been an hour and a half. It's 10:30. Let's go to bed, and no more Arsenal for tonight. All right. We had fun. It's been great. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.